Studios. Welcome to the Week 6 edition of the Doug Less Report. I'm your host, Bobby Marabia, with this time to my right, Max Sutton.
That's right, different spot.
And very special guest star from the Orioles organization, rookie sensation, Saul R. Towell.
Mathematician.
In addition to that, he's our tie-breaking playoff genius, as Malak also takes claim to that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Saul, in case people don't know, Saul's also the nephew of NRJ, who sat in that very same seat and got his big break in this.
Wow.
You got tough shoes to fill because nobody was like NRJ.
First of all, welcome, Saul, and tell us, first of all, if people don't know Saul, he's goes to NYU.
This is true.
And also is the color analyst for the Hillel Heat softball team.
Yes, true as well.
Who has a big game coming up Friday, which we'll talk about a little later. But let's start off
followed by a huge game of
doubleheader this week. Max, another crazy week this week.
It really was.
YMSL, besides the fact that we were spread out all over.
Yeah, but I heard all the fields.
County, but it was,
the fields nobody had any complaints about.
No, well, I mean, but, a couple of them were, back from the heyday of
from
the
YMSL. Okay, sometimes retro is fun.
But you actually, you told me something very interesting. We actually played your game at the M&S Knight Field.
Yes,
it was the first time you ever played in that field.
It's funny. I did play in 2006 a few times, the first time since then, because I'm always sitting there just watching the games the way you watch them. It was a lot of fun.
It looked great, by the way.
Yeah,
the field looked amazing. They had issues with it with the rain, but it looked amazing.
The township did a great job fixing it up. They really did.
In all the fields. Also, why don't we start off with your matchup? You were playing the 0-9 Indians.
So you said everything crazy and another week of unexpectedness, but our game was not so unexpected. It was business as usual for the Indians. You know what? They came with a full squad, and they all came ready to play. And we did mention on the show last week that their playoff lives were still
mathematically alive.
Right, we're mathematically alive, and they were saying all the right things. And so much so that they jumped up to a 2-0 lead in the first inning.
Which they've done twice, the third game in a row. They jumped
really
the lead.
They had a lead for like 3 innings, 2-0, 2-1, and then just the doors blew open. We had like a big 6 or 7 run inning. A.B. Cohen was pitching okay. He was holding down for the most part our lineup. There was 3 guys maybe in the lineup that were really hitting well. Joe Greenberg, holy cow. Monster day. I don't think he made out till the end.
5 for 6,
5 for 6. Thank God I hit the ball well against A.B. and Elliott Sack had some nice hits. And Michael Solomon was in a little bit of a funk, and he came out with 4 hits on Sunday.
Michael, veteran of that field, so he knows that.
Right, so he knows the field. Now, our team, early on, we looked a little shaky defensively. Tuna pitched really well, and we held it down. First game, we ended up winning in a ho-hum style. It was 11-3.
Yeah.
That was cool.
12-3, yeah.
12-3, I'll take it. Game 2, again, they jumped up to a 2-0 lead. And we ended up having a nice inning. We went up 3-2. We went up 6-2. And it got nervous.
Yeah, well, the Never Say Die Indians.
That's right.
They really battled back.
They sure did.
Credit. And
I'll tell you what it came down to.
Also, Mo Mal had to leave early, so they played without Mo
That
Mal.
was a huge point of the game because in the final inning, 1 out, there was one big play defensively that helped the inning roll for the Raw organization. But all said and done, with 2 outs, the Indians at second and third, down 6-5. With the number 2 hitter in the lineup would have been Mo Mala, who ended up playing hockey in the Aviator at the time. So A.B. Cohen, who in his own right in his day was a really good hitter, but he's 58 years old now. I'm not saying he can't swing the bat, but he's not Mo Mala at the plate. And John Eliezer was on deck. So if Mo Mala was there, it's not like a welcome. And we ended up hitting a fly ball to right. Was not an easy play for Ruby Sacco, who's been playing a great right field. And he caught the ball at the end of the game. So we won 6-5 fighting fashion.
So it's probably a microcosm of
the Indians here. It's funny.
Get the right guy.
So many things happen like that for them. There was a ground ball that just went by the guy, and Eddie Michon's like, story of the year. It was a fly ball that the guy dove. I actually hit one. I hit a shot into the guy. A.B. Haber made a great dive. hits his glove, flies out. You know, like everything is
Yeah.
so close.
By the way, a special hats off to John Eliezer. The guy is playing his heart out every single.
It's true that he's laying it all on the line.
On both ends of the offensive and defensively, and he's trying to get his team pumped up.
Down 11-3, he's making diving stops. It's very true.
So
and Eddie Michon ended up coming into pitch in game 1. They gave A.B. Cohen a little break for game 2, and he held his own.
Right.
He actually had bases loaded, nobody out, and he got out of the inning. Popped up myself, Michael Solomon, and Salim. I mean, we were up at the time, but still, it was pretty cool.
So the woes continued for the Indians.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably right now the worst start.
Is it really?
Yeah.
We know, and we keep saying it. There was never a winless
never
team.
winless. I think there was a 1-13, but I think they won before the 11th game. So.
And this is going into the final week. They got 3 games. Is it going to happen? Nobody wants to be.
That's another thing. You talk about pressure. Besides the team they're playing, fighting for a playoff life,
They have pressure too now.
Yeah.
It's funny. Usually, like you say, the team that's 1-12 feels no pressure.
Yeah.
But these guys, it's almost like a pressure packing.
Yeah.
It could go 20 years down the road. Oh, that team with A.B. Cohen, John Eliezer, and Jack Shamel, that was the only 0-14 team. That could be the Hecky. You know what I mean? That a team that wins 5 games doesn't make the playoffs.
It's really
lost in the
amazing. I mean, you usually win one by mistake. But,
I mean, again, the circumstances here is crazy.
Yeah.
The guy's missing, but it is what it is. Looking forward to that last week matchup. What's going to happen?
So let's shoot over to Saul Towels Orioles.
Okay.
Now, Saul, this is a first and second place matchup. This is a huge matchup against the Ducks.
And it turned into a big rivalry, too.
This is
It definitely did turn into a big rivalry. I mean, when both teams just getting onto the field at Memorial in that parking lot, you really saw there was.
By the way, this game was
serious
held
tension.
at Memorial 2, which Saul, you were in your diapers when we used to have
Yes.
some incredible games there. There was a quick game I'll tell you about. Moses Eastman, one of the most legendary pitching performances in league history, pitched 3 games, playoff games, in Memorial 2.
I was there.
And it's in the summer, and he would not have any liquids because the Gatorade did not have an OU on it. So,
Right.
Yeah, so he just to say we pitched 3 games in one, so I'll never forget that.
That was 2008.
Yeah, something.
Really
So Saul, your O's coming in, the Ducks coming in 8-2. Ducks with a winning streak.
Exactly. So right from the start, you could tell it was going to be 2 great games, and it was really no more apparent than in the first inning. The first inning, the Ducks started the game with a man on third, 1 out. We got out of it. People screaming, people going crazy, people are upset.
Who made out? There was a runner on third. Who was up at the plate? You recall?
There was a runner on third. Let me look here. Cohen. That's Erwin Cohen. So Erwin Cohen is on third with 1 out, and we got out of it by popping out to the shortstop. We walked the guy. It was just we game planned. It worked, and we got out of the inning. Everyone's screaming. Bottom of the first, Jordy starts off with a leadoff triple. Now we're going crazy because we got out of it. We're going to get out. With no outs and a man on third, they get out of the inning.
No way.
They made a play at the plate getting Jordy out
everybody's
from
curious.
deep shortstop.
Right, so I'm assuming Steven Shalou hit that.
That's correct. Steven Shalou hit a rocket.
And they fielded it? What do you mean?
I guess.
They fielded it. I think it was the first fielded ball ever on Shalou. And
they nailed Jordy at the plate?
They nailed Jordy at the plate.
He gets a hit for that, buddy.
Oh, is that what Madelon at the play? Was that a play with Madelon?
Oh, that could be. That they threw it out their home.
No, Madelon is on our team.
Right. So he made. Oh no.
Oh no.
Sorry. So who's the catcher? Who's the other team's catcher? Was it Jigga? Oh, Jackie Zolta's back.
Jay-Z.
Zolta.
Oh, nice.
For that time.
Really cool.
So then Shalou gets to second after the whole tagging at home, and then Jackie walks. Mo Haber grounds it to a double play.
Wow.
So
a hot hitting Mo.
After the first inning, it was chaos. It was no one's gonna score, and everyone's getting out of it. Everyone's making crazy plays, and it really held that way.
A lot of playoff intensity this matchup.
Exactly. It held that way until we finally got on the board. Well, we got on the board early. We got a run on Albert Zolta's single, who's been hitting great. He just got a LASIK eye surgery, so
the ball better.
Exactly. The plan is for all of us to get that.
Actually got it last year myself.
Oh, you did?
From the same doctor, yeah.
And then the third inning, the Ducks exploded. They got 4 runs on walks and Jacob started off with a single. Let me see here. Oh, so it was basically bases loaded. Sonny Shalom up, 3-0 count, and either 2-0 or 3-0 count, and he hit a double that scored all 3 runs. They ended up tacking on one more run at 4-1. We really never got back into it. We tried to. Leo pitched well.
Sonny Shalom got the big hit.
Sonny Shalom got a huge hit in game 1.
So the final was 5-1.
The final was 5-1. They tacked one on a little bit later.
Max did.
Right.
Red hot, Max.
He's been pitching wrong. That's right.
I mean, Max has been pitching amazing.
Yeah, but the Orioles, I guess, whatever was said in the in-between game huddle must have worked.
Yeah,
they came out with a vengeance.
We were fired up. Our captains were fired up, and we really
captains
felt
on that team. Yeah.
And Jordy, and a question on Jordy. He was okay with his foot. I know he has a hairline. He was in a boot. TMZ sent a picture of him in a boot in the city last week.
Definitely. I'll give a lot of credit to Jordy. He's definitely dedicated to the game. And you could tell when he's on the field, he tells himself that no matter what, he's got to make the plays. He's got to run it out. If he's going to be on the field, he has to play.
So they kept Jordy's at shortstop, Shalou's up the middle.
Jordy's at shortstop, Shalou up the middle, like we have been. I mean, our record definitely shows that something's working. And then
don't change it.
Jordy, when he's on the bench or in between games, he'll definitely work it out and take it easy because it definitely is paining him. But during the game, you would never know.
Okay, good. He's been hitting this year, right? What's his average?
His numbers aren't high now, but hey, it's playoff time is coming. He's a dangerous man. Hey, like they said, good numbers or bad numbers, leading off a game with a triple. That's the 3rd time he did that this year.
Exactly.
So even if his numbers are low,
it's the 3rd time he's done in the 3 games against Leo Casson. He's led off the game with a triple all 3 times.
Oh, 3 games with Leo because they played Leo twice. That's funny.
So the O's went into a victory 8-3. I mean, I think what did Shalou do on the day? I think it's
okay. So
just the total
in game 2, Shalou hit the big hit with bases loaded. Hit a double that scored 2, and that was really basically the dagger.
Can't do anything. Can't put him
nowhere to put him. Only Barry Bonds. Only Barry Bonds they walked.
They hit a rocket.
I would be surprised if he gets walked intensely with bases loaded.
Depends on the game, but
up by 3. I think you might have.
Might be the move.
We were kind of screaming that at the bench. That
who usually hits after?
Jackie Towell.
After Shalou's Jackie Towell, so really not.
It's not much.
Jackie's gonna hit. You know, you're not gonna walk Shalou to put up Jackie.
Right. Just Shalou really could do with one swing of the bat. Amazing. Good thing we don't have fences.
Right.
So the Orioles with the 8-3 victory and earned a split to remain in first place.
Exactly. I mean, we earned the split. We were very happy about it. We were also happy that we kind of have the run differential now between the Ducks. If it did come down to that,
it'd be a
number 1 seed.
Exactly. So this is a huge win.
It's going to be interesting to see now with Jordy's injury if that's going to be a lingering effect.
Ongoing. Right. They want that bye. That could be a reason that team wants that bye hardcore.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Usually the team that wins game 2 of a split is the one the one in the parking lot that has that smirk on their face because you just remember to win. So I would imagine the O's walked away that way. But, you know, the Ducks were getting disrespected, especially from this O's team in the media.
Especially from this panel, the media.
Yeah, we kept picking against them, and every time we do, we get burnt.
I think, did we pick a split this week? I think
I may have. I don't even remember what's the difference. But either way, you got to tip your cap to this Ducks organization. Leo Cass is pitching great. Harry Braha's additional bat in that lineup definitely was a help, and we keep talking about it every week. Sonny, the veteran, this week sounds like he's the one that came through with a big hit in that game 1, and we know Eric Greenberg in the past has came out of nowhere, and Benny Rishti. You know these
Eshko, Henry,
right, and
Irwin,
of course the Irwin, right. It turned into a deeper team, and you got to tip your cap, and we'll never deny their defense, never. So good for them.
Really.
That's right.
And
the O's record speaks for itself. They're 9-3.
There's no doubt the Ducks they play as a team.
Right. They got that chemistry.
They'll be loud. They'll go crazy. You know, we had.
You have Henry on the bench. They're going to be loud. We know.
2 weeks in a row, actually. We kind of got a little screwed with a tag-up play.
Leaving early?
Leaving early. Did he leave early? I don't know that Shalou has the fundamentals to leave early. I think he's on the bag. Shalou runs very fast. But it came down to that case where one team was screaming louder than the other, and
what's the word Zally Marshall always uses, right?
That's
Fifth Avenue
right.
sales, right?
I mean, it's somebody once made a great point. Why don't they just make it an automatic appeal every time?
Because that's what we do. It's true. You're supposed to.
So
that's that idea.
So they're in a split, and believe it or not, even the O's at 9-3 have not yet clinched a bye. So that's
they didn't clinch it, right?
Clinch a bye.
Right.
We'll get to that later. So let's get back to the other matchup. Let's shoot over to Memorial 3, where very devastating news came out of this matchup.
You want to just jump out with that?
It's the A's versus them Bums. Both teams fighting for their playoff lives. And the Bums suffered a serious injury with.
And this them Bums
Jack
team,
Cabatti.
we know early in the season they were missing players, and after they played my team, I mean, they looked all outworldly. I don't know, they looked amazing. And Jack Cabatti, as Bobby just mentioned, he looked like out of his mind that day.
Well, we always talk about Jack Cabatti finally putting it all together, and this is the year he put it all together.
He's put it together. His last 2 weeks, I think he only had 2 hits each week, but still, and defensively,
I mean, he was clear cut for one of the, for him and Chalou.
One of the elite, right? One of the elite players in the league, and unfortunately, like you were about to mention,
he suffered a torn ACL and a plate.
You don't even want to hear it. You don't even. It's an injury that nobody even wants to wish upon anybody, God forbid. And our refuah shlema thoughts go out to Jack. I'm sure surgery
is soon.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be soon.
All our thoughts to the Batty family, and hopefully he'll be back next year.
I hope. They say it's like a 9 to 12 month recovery process. Rehab is not easy, and if anybody's gonna,
but he's young and he's strong, and
if anybody's got the determination, it's Jack. So I'm sure he'll be back better than ever.
And they picked up Lee Zakaria as their replacement for the duration of.
Which is an interesting pickup. They didn't choose outfielder. I mean, slim pickings, I guess. You know, you don't have your pick of the litter out there.
Well, they are fortunate to have a guy like Farker who can play center field, so they just.
But now corner outfield is gonna, I would imagine, to say get a little weaker.
Right.
You have Solly Tal going to left, who's very good out there, and now instead of Farker on left, Solly on right, who's going to be the right fielder? We'll get to that. Let's see this game.
All right. So you had the A's coming in, getting swept the week before, I believe, right? The A's, so they were fighting
to the Ducks,
for their playoff lives. No,
actually, they split. They got swept by the Ducks, and then they split with me.
So they came in at 4-6, I believe. So, and Malak was, we'll talk about Malak. This game was played at Memorial 3. And Malak hit a home run over that fence and left side.
Did he really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Hit a shot over the fence.
Yeah, that's according to Jimmy, but there are witnesses that said it did go over the fence.
There's no video.
It's like Babe Ruth. He did it over the fence. He hit a home run. He was 4 for 4 in the day. That's a shot. I mean,
I was gonna say that's something Jimmy hasn't been trying to do of late. He hasn't been stroking with his power. We all know he could, but he's been known to right field. The line drives up the middle, which are all great. To hear he went over the fence with it, that's anything you could do. I can do better, maybe to his cousin Steven Chalou.
But interesting scenario in this game. We talked about Batty's injury in the first game.
Yeah.
Now it came up as only could happen in the YMSL. It's the 7th inning now. And the base is loaded, and the Batty's spot is up.
Is it the number 2 spot in the order?
Whatever it was, he was up.
I think he bats second in the order, but that.
So now, technically, they could have just,
Make it
actually, it was 2 men on, second and third, I believe. They could have walked the
right.
The previous batter with a Batty.
So what we have in the YMSL, we say you're allowed to put a guy in that slot.
Injury.
It's not. You don't need to ask the other team permission. Right. If there's an open slot through the injury, you're allowed to put a guy there.
Right.
So who they put there?
So it was Jeffrey Saka.
Okay.
Well, actually, Jeffrey was hitting on the day. I believe maybe previous weeks he's been hitting a little bit. But
Jeffrey has his a couple of clutch hits in the past. He pulls it to left field, right center once in a while. But I guess.
But not this time. Malak blew him away with a strikeout to end the game.
Swinging
to the I believe so 4-2.
4-2, so the tying run was on second base. So it was a close game. Wow,
a very close game. It was a low-scoring game. And
I didn't realize Jack got hurt in game 1.
Yeah.
So you got to imagine that team was pretty devastated.
Yeah.
Going into game 2. Like you said, I'm sure Farker went to center. Maybe Elliot Towell went to right, I would imagine, and Sal Towell to left.
Right.
Or Sal Fallis is in right. I don't know what they did. But game 2.
Game 2, another very close game. the A's won 8-7. Huge game for Ralph too today. Yesterday, I believe 5 for 6.
Wow, good for Ralph.
Jimmy again, we mentioned 4 for 4. But again, they got into a big lead. The Bums came back to make it 8-7 with 2 men on.
Wow, again, the last inning.
Last inning, and I forgot who the last batter was. Grounded out, the tying run.
Is this a trend? Is Jimmy getting nervous at the end of games, or is it just happens to be? I mean, this is Jimmy's learning
guys are going to
process.
play till last out, so
Right.
it's just it's hard to close a game.
And Jimmy was on the mound all 14 innings. That's very big, important note to bill out there. Okay.
So huge. Tough day for the Bums, losing 2. Now they have a 4-game losing streak.
They do not control their own destiny.
No, they do not control their own destiny. And the A's really, they
put themselves in a good spot.
A very good spot.
And they do control their own destiny at 6-6. They win out.
Tough day all around for the Bums. Of course, was the loss of Jack Abadi,
and then getting swept. That's like losing 3. That's rough.
So we'll discuss the upcoming games shortly. Let's shoot over to Fireman's East. Where we had Z-Pack coming in at 5-5. No, it was 6-4 versus Locked In. Amazingly, it was only came in 4-3.
Haven't played this season yet.
They had a bye for 6 weeks, and so you had really 2 very uninteresting games, not even close. The Locked In came out right off the gates, and
well, there is one very, very big note that came out to me in this game. I actually saw it. It was on YouTube. Somebody had it on their iPad. First inning, I almost said Joseph again, but Robert Tobias, lefty, took Naby deep for a 3-run homer with 2 outs.
Wow, the first inning.
First inning of the whole day. And you know what? That may have set the tone for that first game. And by the way, this kid's got a pretty sexy swing.
Yeah, lefty.
I never saw him yet, and I just saw him, and it looked like Ken Griffey's swing. Took that ball for a ride over the right fielder's head. I don't know if he was playing shallow because Naby's pitching, and he doesn't want his fielders. Naby always said it when I played with him last year. If it goes over the heads, it's on me. If it bounces in front of you, it's on you. And he wants his fielders playing shallow. But this ball looked like it was hit pretty well. And that set the tone. They ended up going on to win that first game. What was it?
8-2.
8-2. So A.B. Saka pitched well, but maybe A.B. Saka pitched too well, and he let it all out. Because game 2,
a whole different story.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know if it's a YMSL record, but Z-Pack scored 11 runs in the first inning.
Is it really the first inning? Wow, that's a big wow.
That's another wow. Zach Ashkenazi had 2 more runs in the innings.
Really?
Yeah.
Same inning. That could be. I don't know if it's a record, but definitely nobody had more than that. Was the guy in some of the 2 grand slams one time?
Yeah.
On the Mets. Well, that's huge. That's really wild.
Yeah.
The stat that's amazing in this game is this was Naby's first time losing game 1.
Yeah.
So that's usually comes out firing on all cylinders, and he lost game 1.
But the fact that he rebounded game 2.
Yeah. Well, it's Naby at the end of the day.
So they set themselves apart a little bit at 7-5 now. Big game for Jake Dweck, also named
Player of the Week.
Co-Player of the Week, along with Jimmy Malak, and who's the third one? Remember?
I didn't see it.
The third Player of the Week was.
Let's look forward. I'll find it. Let's go ahead to next week's matchups.
So Locked In still got a few games to make up, so they're sitting at 5-4 now with a game Friday. Oh, Ralph Matute.
Oh, you said it before. You mentioned
it. Big game. So let's get to the. Now we mentioned before we get to the matchups, I guess Mr. Towel here is going to give us the English version of the
we have Arabic
tiebreakers.
Yeah, we have Arabic.
Jimmy's in charge of Arabic for Al Jazeera. So why don't you tell us?
So basically, the way the tiebreaker.
Why don't we start off with each team? Let's say, like the Orioles, what do they need to clinch a bye?
Okay. Currently, the Orioles winning 1 game out of 2 next week will guarantee them the number 1 seed.
We should say that the Orioles did clinch a playoff spot, but now
the Orioles clinch a playoff spot.
Clinch a bye.
They clinch a bye with 1 win.
Okay.
That would also clinch them the 1 seed.
Oh, really? 1 win gets them the 1 seed
because of
what
matchups. They'll have a 10-3. They'll be 10-4 if they split, and anyone else that could be 10-4
would be the Ducks.
Would be the Ducks.
Well, they have the
Do
runs
you have
on
run
there.
differential?
We have the run differential over the
Okay,
Ducks.
okay, so that they give
Oh, and if I wait a second, if I win out, I would have 10 wins.
what did you do against
I
win
split
out.
with them,
what
and
did you do
it
against
was
the Ducks?
very the Ducks I swept. So it doesn't guarantee them the 1 seed. Guarantees them a bye. It doesn't
Okay,
guarantee
guarantees
them a
them a
1
bye.
seed. Guarantees them a bye. I mean, are the
I
odds
mean,
high?
I'd have to check the scores.
Right. So our
with
games,
your
game one game we won by 2. The second game, I know we came back. We were down 10-1. We tied it up. We might have lost by 1 or 2 runs. I forgot.
Could have been tied also.
It could have been very
Run
tight on
differential.
runs even. It might have been.
So I'll look back at that.
Yeah,
game.
it's not a big
Basically,
deal, but
Orioles win gets them
if they
by.
win 2, they guarantee the 1 seed.
They win 2, they're guaranteed the 1 seed for sure.
But they could technically lose to it, still gonna buy now. Or?
Yes,
They could.
From what somebody Malak told me that the O's could be anywhere from 1 to 5 in this.
Now, here's the interesting thing about the O's, the game. If the O's win 2,
That means that
that's
They're
it. We
bums.
already know who's in the playoffs.
If the O's win
If
2,
the O's win 2,
well,
it
eliminates the bums.
eliminates them bums and the Indians are out.
All right.
So every other team would automatically, I don't know seeding, I don't know who goes where, but we would know the
Oh,
playoffs.
they're playing them.
I mean, seeding is going to be too hard to determine.
Yeah,
this week,
that'd be
only
rough.
Because
But that's a
Boston
big,
has so many games
Yeah.
left. Raw has games.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's the one thing that could happen that would clarify, if it did happen, that would clarify who's in or who's out of the playoffs.
Exactly. But
So-
the actual rule in determining whether or not a team is going to be in the playoffs is this: if there's 3 teams tied for 1 spot, it goes by head-to-head against the other 2 teams. So if Dem Bums, Locked In, and Raw are tied,
1-1 against each other. So
if they're all 1-1 against each other, then it's going to go against record against playoff teams, which is going to be everyone except the
Indians.
teams in the tiebreaker and the Indians.
Then you
So
go back to head with the 2 of them again?
Then you'd go.
And was the team
Well,
that
if there's only 1 spot.
right? So,
So
if there's only 1 spot,
If there's 2 spots, you take that winner, and then you would take the last 2 teams and do a tiebreaker.
do a tiebreaker again. So
Exactly.
if one
So
guy
it'd be
swept, the
head-to-head.
other one would be in. If you go to the head-to-head, you go back to playoffs records against each other.
but it'd still be the same now or no?
No, it may not. I'll tell you why. No, you're right. It would be.
Yeah.
I don't know if you look at it would be the same. So then you would look at runs at head-to-head. But if it's for a playoff spot,
So
runs
it
can't do it.
might just be a 1-game
It might have
playoff.
to be a 1-game playoff.
Right,
If it's
so
still gonna, but for seeding, runs could do it.
I mean,
Right.
the way the rules state is that the order of tiebreakers when 2 teams are tied for the last spot. So that's assuming that the 3rd team already made it,
Right.
and now there's
then
1
two.
spot left in 2 teams. So first it goes by head-to-head.
And then it has to be a 1-game playoff.
And then it's play in game between
Right.
the 2 teams. Coin flip determines choice of home field.
Right. So now, big thing has to be noted, and it could be huge here. If you're fighting for the 2 and 3 seed, which is a full round of playoffs,
Exactly.
it's not a 1-game playoff.
No.
It could be runs. So you scoring 2 more runs against them
Yeah.
head to head could get you a full round off in the playoffs.
Well,
Fair or not, that's the rules. That's pretty
Before
wild.
that rule, there is record versus playoffs.
Playoffs, right? Sorry, it's exactly. I'm assuming that's the same as well.
So you'd have to have head-to-head. You'd have to split. Record versus playoff teams would have to be the same. Then it goes by run
Right,
differential.
which is not a crazy
It's not
scenario.
so
though.
crazy.
Not at all. Pretty
So
cool.
that would take care of the O's. Now the Ducks also, I believe, clinch a playoff spot.
Did they really? They have 7 wins now.
No, they're
The
8.
Ducks,
Oh, 8. Okay, so then they did
no, the Ducks are 7-5.
7. So I don't know if
They
they
only
clinched.
have 7 and
The
5.
Ducks did not clinch a playoff.
Don't they have
spot.
tiebreakers? Or
They
no?
might have no, they don't have the tiebreaker against me, but they do have the tiebreaker against them bums. But if we all end up 3-way, I think I'm the one in trouble because of
Well,
playoff
if it's
team.
Ducks and Z-Pack, that could be
All right,
something
it
too.
depends.
They
Right,
split.
depends what I
They,
do.
They
de- they
split.
definitely did not.
Oh, they don't have the runs on that.
No, they don't
but-
have a full Z-Pack. They blew out 8-2 the second.
Right,
game.
but again, like Saul was saying, record against playoff teams. This is why it's very hard for us to know this because we don't even know who the playoff teams are. I
Exactly.
mean, we don't know what locked in's going to
Well,
be
the
doing.
Ducks are 7 and 5 without having played the Indians yet, so they have to have a fairly good record.
Right,
teams
against
that are in
playoff. That's a
the
good point.
So,
Wow, that's a very good point. But they didn't officially clinch anything.
no, so they
yet.
didn't clinch it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
they didn't officially
good enough.
clinch anything.
So really, just the O's are the only team that clinched then. And
Correct.
Then everybody's.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a scenario where the O's don't clinch a bye. I could run through it if you
Well, it's
want.
probably not if they get swept. I would imagine, and that there'd be what 10 and 6.
But if they get swept, they'd be 9 and
Oh
7.
no, 9.
Yeah.
No, if they get swept,
9 and 5. I mean.
9 and 5, and then. But who do they have the tiebreakers? Who has the tiebreakers over them if they're 9 and 5?
I don't know. I have to look at me.
They're playing the bumps. So it wouldn't be the bums. Z-Pack, they split with Z-Pack over the scores in that game. Z-Pack somehow swept.
I mean, I wrote this out just for the O's personally. It says, let's say Locked In would win out, they'd be 10-4. Or Z-Pack gets to 10-4, and Raw can get to 10-4.
No, Z-Pack can't get to 10-4. They're 7-5.
So there could be 9.
9-5.
Z-Pack, sorry, it could be 9.
Also, could get a bye at 9.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Z-Pack plays Raw.
That's right.
Right.
So one of them
would need to sweep. If Z-Pack sweeps, they would have the tiebreak. Okay, this is assuming we get swept. So if Z-Pack sweeps, they have the tiebreaker over us.
Ooh, so they would
But
get
if
the 1
Raw
seed.
wins, we have the tiebreaker over Raw.
Oh, you do have the tiebreaker over Raw. So
That's what I wrote previously. So
okay, so you probably have it on runs.
Um,
not saying you're not biased. I'm
if
gonna look that up, but I trust you.
If we did lose both and Locked In wins out and is the 1 seed at 10-4, then Z-Pack sweeps and is 9-5, they would be over us. So it'd be Locked In with the 1.
So that's the
and Z-Pack with the
situation
2.
where the O's don't
That's
get
the
the bye.
situation where the O's get the 3 seed.
Right, that's pretty
and does not
hard
get
to
the bye.
happen.
So it's Orioles get swept, Z-Pack wins out, Locked In wins out, and Locked In winning out. I mean,
That's
it's
a lot of
possible,
games.
but there's 5
This
games.
segment has been brought to you by Advil. You can go pop 2 because I just got a headache.
That's a lot of ifs in that one, but
I mean, the biggest thing with the scenarios here is that the Locked In itself can go anywhere from 2nd to 7th place.
To 7th place, right?
So-
yes.
Coming up with these scenarios there's like 150 different scenarios.
So
that come out.
someone put a little clip on my on our team chat, and I think everybody should just have this mentality going in. What Herm Edwards always says: you play to win the game. Forget about everything else. Go out there, take care of business, do what you got to
did
do.
Jim Morris say?
Playoffs, but you know what I mean. Let's go out there. I mean, you want to be on the phone and find out what everybody else is doing. It's just going to take you out of your own.
There's too much. You got to play the game to worry about everything.
Play your
after,
games.
Everything falls in place.
Right. Let the chips.
I mean, just looking at the schedule, you got to figure the Ducks have the best scenario to clinch
yeah, because of who they play. Well, again, this is interesting. Well, let's go ahead to next week's match.
All right. So I guess there's so many scenarios where like the teams, could be. It would be interesting. I guess Z-Pack technically could get eliminated too. I mean, who knows?
Could happen if there was
an amazing story.
Maybe, yeah. Everybody root for us.
Well,
I mean, the odds.
Dem Bums owns the tiebreaker over Z-Pack.
Dem Bums.
They split probably. Now the Z-Pack didn't get swept against anybody, so
right. They kept splitting,
so
and they won 2
Well, then Z-Pack may not. I mean, it's possible.
It's possible, but very improbable.
All right, so let's start off with this week's matchups. We don't know the fields yet, but we have Dem Bums riding a 4-game losing streak at 5-7 versus the 9-3 Orioles.
Now, may I add, this was the team most of all the media was very high on the entire season. Very high on
The Bums.
Them Bums. Going before the season started, Sammy Towell was here with us. I could say he was biased. He's on the team. But everybody was high. You were high on them. I was pretty high on them. And, it's a short season. Guys miss. Guys get hurt, unfortunately. Is Jeffrey having his best of seasons? Only saw him once. He was good in one game, not great in the other. It's just they're 5-7. It's wild. And they're going against, I would say, a team that wants to go in riding hot into the playoffs on these O's. And I think Max Yedida's eye is on the prize of regular season ERA and Cy Young.
He's looking for more than that. He wants MVP.
He wants it. And I know he keeps hearing the name Naby, and I keep saying the name Naby because he's unbelievable. And I think Max is like, he went very late last year off of injury, and he thinks he should have been even taken earlier this year. And he's got something, I think he wants to go out on regular season high note. I'm calling the O's to win too.
Also, I don't know. I feel that with Jacobati not being there, even though Chucky's there, the intensity Jack brings is.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
That competitive fire.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Nobody's got it more than Jack.
Right. So I think that could be a loss of a tremendous amount of talent still on the team.
Oh no, they're great, and they don't miss a beat in center.
And Lee's definitely going to help the team. I mean,
and Lee has a 6-for-7 in his bat.
Yeah.
Lee's bat. Maybe he's a little cold. He didn't swing the bat all year, so maybe that doesn't help.
I mean, I was in the office with Lee when he was
got the phone call.
He got the phone call. His eyes
Put the bum's cap on.
Oh, I heard
his eyes definitely lit up.
I heard he ran out of the office and he went straight to Edison's batting cage. That's what I heard.
Correct. I mean, he's ready. Like I've watched him previous years. I know everyone knows what he's capable of. So he's definitely
he's definitely going to be more there. There was talking about Gabe at bat. Gabe hasn't played in a couple of years, so I think this might have been the better.
No, I think it's better for for the defensive alignment.
Right.
Mark Braha wants to stay at short.
Yeah.
Lee Zaccaria is a Gold Glove.
So who's playing second base?
So this is where it gets interesting. The weak spot on them bums. I don't want to call it weak spot, but the question mark on them bums now is. Second base has been Goat Danziger, and he's been great.
Oh, Goat's been playing amazing.
So Goat's going to probably go to short center field, where Sal Fallis was doing an admirable job. Now I think Elliot Towell and Sal Fallis are going to have to go to right field.
Right.
I heard Elliot Towell didn't look so comfortable in right on Memorial 3. Granted, it's Memorial 3, and there's ditches and hills and sink drains out there, but he didn't look comfortable. And Sal Fallis hasn't played outfield this year, I don't think.
I will say this. Goat Danziger in his day was a Gold Glove outfielder.
I believe that, and so was a lot of other
But in other words, at 46, could he still do it at right field?
I highly doubt it. I mean, I love Goat. He looked great. It was so good to see him, and he's got great hands. I think he's got to stay on the infield. I mean, hey, maybe he takes one for the team, and that's where hamstrings start getting scary.
So what do you think prediction-wise?
I'm taking the O's for 2, and I think right field, not that these guys can't do it, but I do think that's their question mark. And like you said, the intensity of Jack missing is going to be a little tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little tough. Obviously, they're going to come out strong, and the season's on the line. But I don't think Jackie Towell's team, Saul could speak for him, I don't think they're going to be nice. I don't think they're coming in rolling over. These guys want to go into the playoffs hot, and they want to lock up the bye.
Definitely. I mean, the mentality we kept having, even after our game 1 loss last week, is that at this point, wins are important, but it's more about making sure the team is perfect for the playoffs. So wins, when we play our game, the wins come. So it's kind of all about playing it right. Don't mess up basic things. Work on different things, and us just doing that and not getting over our heads or not getting too crazy, playing each at bat at a time. That's been our key to success.
Here's a big scenario now. If them bums loses game 1, I believe Malak mentioned that even if they 6, they're not automatically. The only way they get in would be a playing game. So I don't think they're eliminated even if they lose.
No, they're not. They have to lose 2 to get eliminated.
Them bums could split and still have a chance.
But I think only in a playing game.
Yeah,
I think.
Right.
So
they definitely would not control their own destiny with this.
Right. So they actually, you're not going to get everybody disappearing.
No. They're going to come out to play, and then they're going to be. Anyway, you're playing good competitive softball. You know what I mean? You come out there to play.
All right. So you're saying the sweep. Obviously, Saul's not going to touch this game. But I have to agree with you on this one too. I think the Orioles have too much riding, and to lose, and I don't know if them bums has recovered yet. I mean, they might,
they have the talent.
They might be game 2.
They have the offensive talent. I'll tell you that. So Maxie D is going to have his work cut out for him, but it's going to be tough. So I'm just going that way.
Okay, so that takes care of that game. Let's go this one. Max Sutton's Raw with a tough way to end the season. Actually, not
really end the season.
Yeah,
but
still a game versus Z-Pack.
Looking forward to this matchup. My old teammate.
Yes. Z-Pack with Nate B and Joe and Zach.
Right, Zach.
Incredible
yes.
level. And Raw. So everybody coming this week.
We are missing Salim Levy, I believe. He's up in the air.
Great third.
He's been playing great defensive third, and his bat started coming around last week. And that would be a loss. I'm not 100% for certain, but I think everybody else will be in. Happy Father's Day, by the way, on Sunday.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So I believe the Z-Pack team's got them all. Got everybody there, from what I hear. A couple of guys did offer a free plane ticket for Nabi, but he didn't bite. We're looking forward to the matchup. I mean, it should be fun, and we have a lot of teammates of his from last year.
Oh yeah,
Joe Greenberg, my center fielder, was on NWO last year. Elliot Saka was a member of our team last year. Myself, so it should be fun.
I see a split in this matchup here. Z-Pack with Raw. I think both teams very hard to sweep. which would just create more of a crunch in the playoffs.
The interesting ripple of this one is Tuna faced these guys in the past before he got traded. When he was on the Ducks, he split with them.
Yeah.
Game one, he got hit pretty
And
hard.
Game 2 recovered
And
nicely.
Game two recovered very. That's right. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know who the benefit
So we're
goes
gonna
to.
have to take you now for a prediction.
Okay.
In the hot
If,
seat.
if I had to give a prediction, I would say a Z-Pack split, Z-Pack sweep.
So he's afraid
mostly
of
because-
the pitch to the chin from Navy.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
It's happened before,
there's
though.
always that, but also just from watching the way Navy got into his own last year when it came down to playoffs and eventually the World Series. So I mean, it's almost like it's a different level,
Right.
and it's hittable. I mean, teams, you guys can come out and you can prove me wrong. You could split, you could sweep him, but I just don't see Z-Pack, especially with the chance to get it by after the season started, kind of at 500. They were juggling around, and now they have like their one-time pass to just get rid of all that,
Right.
get your sweep, get you by, and just immediately go to the semifinals with maybe. I think they'll be ready for that, and I think they're going to end up winning.
right,
By
fair
the way,
enough.
we talk about high energized teams. This team,
Yes.
Definitely high energy.
I mean,
Between Nathan and Steven,
and Zach,
and 100%.
Ruby Shahabar.
Yeah, Ruby's got him out. He's
Yeah.
funny.
Jackie Haber. I mean, very, very young. Stephen Batesh, God bless him, as
Yeah.
talk with the best of them. Lewis, no slouch either.
Oh, that's for sure.
So very, very interesting, matchup. And
Funny to have two or three guys that don't open their mouth, but the rest of them do. I don't think I've ever heard Buka's voice yet.
by the way, you know what? You should mention David Buka Cohen's having an outstanding year.
Yeah, he's a
He
ball
made
player,
a
man.
catch last. You might have caught it on YouTube.
So
That was posted over
playing
the
left
shoulder.
field.
Willie Mays catch.
really good for him. Hey, he's a real outfielder. He's a center fielder.
Incredible.
He's
Yeah,
a
with
center
couple-
fielder for that
couple
Hillel
of home
championship
runs.
team. So.
Yes.
So another young up and coming star in the league. And so it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens after
Take
that.
two, boys.
Another matchup is the A's coming in at 6-6 versus Locked In.
This is huge. To me, this is the most intriguing matchup because A.B. Saka did something, you want to call it unorthodox. He's got an old outfield, but he said what he's doing now is what he's going with. Jackie Ashkenazi, at the clock, he's their starting center fielder.
Yeah. By
That's
the way, we should mention that he was a Gold Glove center
Oh,
fielder
he was
for
great. When I came
The
into the
same year
league.
as Goat, by the way.
Exactly. No, so Jackie's still in great shape and he's fit. And Jamie Dweck was missing for a tournament that he won. Congratulations, Jamie. And I think he won the tournament, but he lost his center fielder starting job. I don't know if he's mad about that, but from what I hear, Jamie's going to be the starting third baseman from now on.
Well, clearly third base was an issue for this team.
Right.
So,
When you put Jamie there, they're in great shape.
yeah, so they have Jamie there, and you have Mo at short, Jaime at second. I mean,
Yeah, the infield's great. You want to put question marks? I heard Nathan Towell's playing great in left field. Jackie Eschel's going to be in center, and Bub is, according to some, the MVP of the team this
he's
year.
been, fielding and hitting.
Yeah,
tremendous
so
this
he's
year.
their right fielder. But there is some age in center and left. Hamstring might have to do some changing. And
I mean, you got to figure like any shots in left center. I mean,
right, is it going to get caught? So that's the question. Now you have A.B. Saka on the mound.
Yeah.
That definitely helps. But that's the question. Now, Robert Tobias, where is he playing? Maybe it's short center. Maybe it's second. I don't even know. It sounds like his bat is electric.
But why can you put him? I don't know if Nathan even wants to play 2 games in the outfield.
So that's a
Why can't he
possibility.
Play left.
It's a possibility.
Yeah,
But I
got to
think,
get some youth in there. Some
Robert
you know.
played the outfield week 1 and week 2. Is
yeah,
that what it was?
and it was
Started out.
and it was a little. He wasn't accustomed to it yet.
Right.
He looks great as an
I mean, he
athlete.
pitched throughout his
Yeah,
life,
career,
right.
So
And you still have Albert Sid, also another athlete.
Oh, right, another guy who could play the outfield. So, and Corman and Sid, I think, have been splitting duty catching.
Right.
But that's their lineup now, defensively. And, it's funny, you mentioned, what's their record? 4-3, right? They only played half their games.
Yeah.
So it's taking time for him to find his team, which is not abnormal.
5-4 now.
Sid
5-4,
and,
sorry.
Sid and Nathan Towers playing time.
Oh, they were? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they have Sid in left field as well. I see. What do you see going into this game, Bob? I'll give you my prediction, but
Well, we have a big storyline in this.
uh-oh.
We have Mavora trying to break the 6-year slump in this And did they even get in with a split automatic or
Just
no?
who got in?
The A's.
A's.
A's were first. Sure,
I
with a
mean,
sweep they get in.
They'd
Yeah.
be
A's are the-
7-7,
Right in the mix.
so they'd be ahead of Locked In so far without
With
Locked In
Locked
playing the
In's
other
playing
games,
in.
and they'd be ahead of Dem Bums. So 7-7.
If that's assuming, they swept them.
With-
So them
with-
bums can't get ahead
They're
of them.
rooting for an Orioles split or sweep
Right.
Yeah,
because that'll just help them out.
Right. That'll
Because
guarantee them.
The
in.
only way for Dem Bums and the A's to be tied is if A's would split and Dem Bums would sweep.
Wow. So the
And then
A's.
they get the tiebreaker because they swept them.
The A's swept the
Yeah.
Swept them bums.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
last week.
So
So they can't even.
So
but
the
there's other matchups they won't.
Right. So the only
well,
thing
if
that
they,
could
they get swept.
right. The
Yeah.
only thing that could really demoralize this A's team is if they lose 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If they win 1, I think they get a playing game somehow, some way, at minimum. But if they lose 2, they're going to be
This is an
scoreboard
interesting
watching.
matchup because you have A.B. Sacker, probably one of the best big game pitchers
Yeah.
in the league.
And usually at the end of the season is when he pitches
Yeah.
his best.
And you have the A's with a lot of pressure for this team to get into the playoffs. You have Malak trying to get in, Mavora trying to get in, Ali after last year. They're just, the thing I fear most for the A's if they lose game 1,
They could
it
self-combust,
it could be like Postal for game 2.
keep guards on the field, all sharp objects.
And it
away.
could be a blowout in game 2 as far as like the locked in.
Right. 3 errors and that's it.
Yeah, the fingers start pointing and this, and the Ali takes the ball. I don't want no other fielders.
Right.
I'll play on 10 positions.
That could happen. So game 1 is huge. I agree.
I
with you.
agree. I think and Locked In wins that game. I think they're gonna sweep. I don't think.
So you're calling a sweep.
If Locked In wins game 1, I'm going. Yeah. There's no way the A's are sweeping, but if the A's win game 1, the Locked In's win game 2. But if Locked In wins game 1, it's a sweep.
Wow. Now, funny
So
question.
what's your prediction?
Sweep.
He's picking a sweep. I'm going to pick a split on this one. I think the A's are going to come out with game 1's win. I think their offense is going to be strong and hyped up. It's funny. Everybody always takes home field. If I were the A's team in this matchup and I had choice, I would hit the first inning of the first game and put pressure on. And obviously, if you don't score, it loses. But try to put up 3 runs right away.
By the way, this is not a lineup you want to go in with like an older outfield. I mean,
It's very true.
So that could be a big problem. It's
Nathan Zolta, I've seen that guy hit
Malak,
shots.
Zolta, Ali,
Malak, yeah, so
Mavora even.
That's why I would like to lead off if I were them and try to put up 3 runs early and put the pressure on AB to get him out of that first inning. But I'm calling a split.
Yeah, a
It's
lot
funny.
of pressure. Malak's a huge, to get into the playoffs his first year as pitcher.
Now, very, very interesting thing. Sunday would be a day, usually, if a third game was needed in a 1-game playoff, that you do it. I guess not always, but I don't think we could do that
well, because we can't the season
because there's other matchups
other
to still be
matchups.
played.
Right.
So we won't even
And
know.
it's also Father's Day. It would have been interesting to see what we would have done in that situation.
Yeah, Father's
Maybe
Day is a
done
little
Friday thing.
Friday, but we'll see.
That'd
That's
be for all the marbles.
Right.
Game playoff Friday.
but that's very any other
So you're
matchups.
picking up. You're picking a split.
I'm picking a split. I'm thinking the A's are going to take game 1, but AB Sacker
We got
won't
to
lose
get
2.
Mr. Towels.
Oh, yes.
I
That's
mean,
big.
the way I see it locked in, they need to have. I mean,
By the way, your
every
uncle
team-
always used to go for it. So you don't have to be like worried about.
Don't be nice.
I'm not worried. I'm just saying.
You don't like a
What I'm-
team, just say it.
No,
you
what,
know?
what I'm saying is that right now teams are looking at scenarios. What if I get in? What if I don't? What if this team splits? But if you looked at Locked In, they only played 9 games. They have 5. They're midway through the season.
Right.
So the question is, are they worrying about every other team? Or are they saying, you know what, we're really in a good spot. We control our entire destiny. We could end up with a bye or we could end up out, just like everyone was on week 1. This is a very early team. So I think that A.B. Sacker on the mound, they're going to calm down. They're going to realize that although the rest of the league is ending, they are not. They have literally 2.5 weeks left to play. So I think if they have that mentality, I don't think their outfield is weak with Jackie Eshko in center, Bub in right, and then alternating in left. I think they'll be fine there. I mean, Jackie Eshko is coach of Alel. I see him shagging fly balls in
I'm
practice.
smelling a
He
sweep
can
here.
go. I'm going to go with a locked-in sweep.
Wow, 2 out of the 3.
We should mention before we even got to this game, Locked In has a Friday game. So, they'll actually be either 5-5 or 6. They're playing the Indians, the makeup game from week 1.
I'm
on
predicting
Friday.
Locked In for that one.
Whoa, going out on a limb. What are you basing that on?
History, baby, history.
So, what do you think of that one? By the way, we should mention Ali Marshall subbing
Right.
for
He'll be on the mound.
A.B. Cohen. And
He's not going to be hitting.
Well, who do the Indians play the last
Ducks.
week?
Ducks.
We'll get to that matchup
Yeah,
after.
we'll get, that'll be the last
I
thing we
don't
talk about.
see, like, I've watched a few of these Indians games. I don't see them going winless. They've come so close. I think they're going to get one.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's going to come.
Well,
I don't think
Running out of time.
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be against Locked In. I mean, that's later.
All right,
the next matchup.
So then that's after that. It's
We got the
lights
Ducks
out.
against the Indians last
So,
one.
you got to assume the Locked In is going to be 6-4 going into Sunday's game. So we're both predicting they'll be 8-4 after.
Yeah,
this
I'm
game.
saying a split, but
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
7-5, 8-4, whatever the case may be.
The last matchup. Now it's
all
funny.
right.
We make fun of this last matchup because the Indians are in it, but it could be huge. It could be a bye implication for the Ducks.
Like I've said, I mean, the Indians are playing for not to be the first team in YMSL history to go winless, and the Ducks are fighting for that bye. And
It's funny. I think the Ducks organization are rooting for the Indians hard on Friday.
so they don't have to come in with.
Yes. So they don't. So the Indians maybe come in. We already took care of that win. If we lose, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But if they're going 0-12, you got to imagine this Indian team's going to come out hungry. There's Eddie Michon, Jack Jamal,
John
John
Eliezer.
Eliezer, Mo Mao. Do they guys want their name in the history books as the first 0-14 team?
And those are some Hall of Famers in that.
Yeah.
You talk about.
So
there,
Steve Goldberg, he's been a professional in this league for over 10 years. There's some real ball players there. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to have their name on it. We're not going to have a trophy for it. So, I mean, you're not going to see it, but it'll be in the history book. So you're already calling a split.
I'm calling a split. I think the Indians are going to win the first game.
Wow.
I think they're just going to come out firing. They're going to be screaming. I don't think they're going to go 0-14. It definitely may happen. I mean, they're 0-12, so it's not that far off. But I think that the Ducks are going to sweep. The Ducks are going to split, and the Indians are going to be 1-13 to finish the season.
Who's their pitcher is a question. I think it's still up in the air. A.B. Cohen may have a prior obligation.
It's
May
it's
not.
up in the air.
I hear that.
I mean, what are we supposed to do with this team? I mean, is it
Eddie
just-
Michon
You
could
said
be
he
the
pitched
pitcher.
pretty good.
He actually
pretty
pitched
good.
well. He got us off balance, throwing that high strike, and he got a bunch of guys to pop out. That could be an option. Go in-house and let Eddie Michon pitch. And whatever, see how the chips fall. What do you got on this one?
I don't see how they're going to win a game here. I like your theory that they might win game one. It makes a little sense, but I think the Ducks have too much to play for, and too mumuch defense. And, I think it's going to be a sweep. So I'm seeing a 0-14.
I'm not going to say that I'm rooting for history, but I'm with Bobby on this one. The only thing that could happen is not a 2-0 lead. The Indians
It's gotta
need
be like you get a 4 or 5 run lead on the Ducks.
That you need.
You can.
That's the only way I believe it could happen is if they're up 4 or 5-0 in the fourth. But 2-0 is just, they've been up 2-0 how many times?
Yeah, and it's wiped out in a matter.
Right, you blink your eyes and they're down 3-2. So, and it's not only the defense, not only it's just the nothing's been right. It's
Right.
It's like Mr. Magoo. I don't know. You walk in, everything's not working. But I'm with you on this one. I think the Ducks are too professional, and I think they're going to come out smoking. And I don't even think they want to make it close, and I don't think they want to be nice about it. So I'm picking a sweep for the Ducks.
So you're saying 0-14 to the Indians.
I am saying that. I hate to say it, and part of me says history is fun, but I don't want to wish that on anybody. So whatever. That's my prediction for whatever it's worth.
All right, so let's mention again, Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. This week is probably start a little earlier. But Friday, a big matchup, doubleheader at Fireman's
Looking
Playground.
forward. That's going to be great.
2 o'clock, we have Hillel going to the Chin
Hillel
Varsity.
versus Darche, I believe.
Darche,
Darche
yeah,
is
from the 5 towns. They're a good team.
They're a powerhouse.
They beat YDE last Friday in a very tight contested battle. They won 6-3. But Hillel has been phenomenal all year. They do have a loss, Hillel, this year, right?
They do have one loss. They lost
to
to
Frisch.
a non-playoff team.
Right, they lost to Frisch. It's actually lost to a team that team I coached actually won that didn't make the playoffs. So shocking. But Hillel has a couple of players on this team that are YMSL rookies playing great. A.B. Saruya, rookie sensation being one on the Raw organization. Bobby mentioned Abe's been playing great this last week. He just hit really, really well. Buka, you mentioned, right? David Cohen. Am I missing one? Is there anybody else on this team now? If not, there's going to be some future stars.
Ike Batash, second year.
Oh, right. Very good.
Second year in YMSL.
Second year YMSL. I had a game-winning hit. That's right. Sorry.
But you also have a few of those guys playing the nightly now, or
yeah, plenty of them. All of them.
So they're going to get some good experience.
Yes. They say Star Watch is on Marty Anteby. He's a major bat.
Yeah.
And David Cohen. There's a couple of other really good ball players.
So that's at 2:00 at Playground.
Wish him luck.
Followed by at 4:00, 4:15, the Ducks and the Indians. And then third game afterwards, the loser of Hillel plays the Indians. So they might get that.
Give them a chance to get a win. Oh boy.
Or maybe the elementary team. One of the teams will play the Indians.
Let's say,
just running through the numbers on your predictions. So if your predictions come true, you would have the.
Why you already put that in? This guy's good.
You'd have money. You'd have. I mean, this is without the other two games that
didn't get played, right?
But you'd have the Orioles in the 1 seed, locked in at the 2, Ducks with the 3, Raw 4, Z-Pack 5, A's 6, Dem Bump 7, and the Indians 8.
Wow! So if that works out that way, we end Sunday knowing who's not in the playoffs.
Correct.
Right.
Wow. So those other 2 games would decide a lot.
We could decide on a bye.
Probably decide on buys, which could be huge.
Could be tremendous.
Round of the playoffs.
Nobody wants to.
But you would know
who's out.
The 6 teams that are going to play on.
It's interesting this year with all the rainouts and stuff. Do you think teams want that bye? Do they want another week off?
It's funny. I mean, you want to play softball, right? You want to.
I mean, there is a fast day after.
No, I know, but
right, it's going to be another.
But the fast day, we're playing July 4th, so that's almost a wash.
Right.
But it's interesting. You've had a lot of weeks off. You lose that momentum. That team comes in very hot. We've seen it all too many times.
We've seen it last year. It did not come into truth. Last year, the 1 and 2 seeds with the bye were the ones in the finals. But the year before that, you're right. The untouchable year, you're right. And I think it's 50-50. At the end of the day, when they play and they win, you could say we will lose. You know what I mean? But I hear it. Guys want to play softball, and nobody
especially
really.
This year,
nobody got on a rhythm this year. So it's not crazy. I'll take the bye if you don't want it. But that being said, let's see how it happens.
So, Saul, thank you for being a special guest star and continued success in the first year with the Orioles in first place.
Yes, definitely. It's nice to be on a first-year team that's doing so well.
You were this close to getting a phone call from Marty at the draft. So
you tell me that every week, and.
He was like, "What's this guy Towel's number?"
And I mean, listen, would the Indians be 0-12 with me on the team? I don't know.
You never know. Could be the mojo.
1-11. They might have had a big difference there. But it is hard to win in this league. So
if you do win in your rookie year, like I said, my nephew won last year as a rookie year, and it is my first year. I was up 2-0 in the World Series, and my team ended up losing 3 in a row.
I mean, as great as that sounds, we are looking week to week, game to game.
That's the only way.
How about this scenario?
We're not going to.
Steven Chalouz won championship his first 2 years, and he's 9-3 this year.
Good for him. Wow, that kid. Coincidence? I think not.
I don't think so.
And he went first round this year. Not like he was a stolen pick, and he's still up there. He's still unbelievable.
So,
but this should be a lot of fun.
We look forward to seeing everybody Sunday, and another good thing. First time we don't have the weather forecast.
That's looking good.
Beautiful 75-degree sunny weekend.
And
should be beautiful. Hopefully it will be like that the rest of the way. And once again, Jack Abadi, have a healthy and speedy recovery.
Yes.
Thank you.